my name is Mauricio, and this is the first of hopefully several videos where I open up the big box PC games of the 80s and 90s, like the ones you see behind me. In the past, you used to get nice printed manuals, reference cards, maps, and even a big box. In these days of digital distribution and environmental conservation, you are lucky to get a DVD case with your PC game. For this first installment, I'm going to open up Syndicate. The game was released in 1993, almost 20 years ago. It was developed by Bullfrog Productions and published by Electronic Arts. Bullfrog was known for great strategy games like Dungeon Keeper and Populous, and it was the home of acclaimed designer Peter Molyneux, who went on to develop the Fable series. I'll be looking at the DOS version of Syndicate, but it was also released for Amiga and several consoles, including the Super Nintendo. Syndicate is a real-time tactics game where you manage to control a team of cybernetically enhanced agents on a series of increasingly violent missions. Today, the game is available at Good Old Games at GOG.com, and I thought I would share what they have to say about it. Syndicate is Bullfrog's masterpiece of a game in which you aren't saving the world or protecting innocents. You just make sure that your employers get what they want. At your disposal are 4 cyborg agents, an impressive arsenal of weapons and gadgets, and a massive selection of cybernetic upgrades. You are free to unleash this power on a highly interactive map where you can blow up buildings, steal cars, light trees on fire, or just shoot stuff. Syndicate is the essence of cyberpunk, and with its great music, stylized visuals, and mind-blowing atmosphere, it has earned its place among the best games of all time. But why talk about Syndicate now? Well, now, almost 20 years later, Electronic Arts is about to release a spiritual sequel in the form of a first-person shooter that is called simply Syndicate. There are plenty of other articles and videos online where you can learn more about the original Syndicate or the new installment, so let's get on to the box. And here we have it, Syndicate, the original DOS release. Let me just turn this around. You'll notice there's something missing from the back of the box. It almost looks like it could be the front of the box. This is, it's missing screenshots. Where are the screenshots for this? This box is quite large, as you will see in a moment. They were able to fit the screenshots on the side, so there are a few relatively small screenshots on the side. Now, part of the reason I'm doing this one now is because this is by far the least efficient box I have in my collection, by far. And you'll see why in a minute. First, you'll notice that it is fairly big. Here's a foot-long ruler. The box is about 8 by 10 by 2 inches, so quite large. I want to take a quick peek since some of you may be interested in the system requirements. There they are. You need 4 megabytes, a whopping 4 megabytes of RAM, a 386 at 16 megahertz or faster, and a Sound Blaster card for audio. MS-DOS 5.0 or higher. Times have certainly changed. It also proudly proclaims, I guess, that it is not copy protected. So let's take a look at what we got inside here. And here's the box opened up, and indeed what we have inside here is not a whole lot. Let's dig in here. For a box of this size, not a whole lot. So first let's take a look at the discs. There are 5 of these. They came in this bag. 3.5 inch, 1.44 megabyte discs. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So remember, in the old days there were no CDs. Old days meaning, you know, early 90s and earlier. There were no CDs, so you had to install this thing was kind of a frustrating, long endeavor. So you had to install each one, swap discs, and some games came with a lot more than 5, let me just say that. So there are the discs. Registration card. This is a fixture of most Electronic Arts games that had little registration cards that look like that. I'm pretty sure that this won't work anymore. Here is a, I guess, it's advertising the games and also hints. You can call a hint line. I'm pretty sure that also doesn't work. This was a fairly standard thing that Electronic Arts included in the early 90s in their boxes. Here we have the manual. It's about 55 pages long, black and white. It covers everything, basically everything you need to know. You're lucky to get a little card with control reference nowadays, but this is actually a fairly complete manual. Covers both the strategic part of the game, where you're running your company and preparing your agents, and also the tactical part, where you're going in on missions to assassinate or persuade, whatever it may be. So it's pretty decent manual and fairly common for the time. In the back, there are actually some they call artist bios, including one there. The very first one is, of course, producer Peter Molyneux. And it has a little bit about each of the top people on the game. So, which is kind of a nice touch if you wanted to learn a little bit more about how the game is made. So that's the manual. Last but not least, we have a reference card. So these games came out around this time. Games came out on multiple platforms, multiple PC and console platforms, and so the manual I just showed you is supposed to be about the game in general, not specific to a platform. This tells you how to install the game and how to change various things, configure it for a particular platform. In this case, it is the IBM reference card, which is, well, PC compatible. What really it should be is DOS. This is for DOS. It also talks about things like, if you need more memory, you need to have a DOS boot disk to have as much memory as possible when you start the game. And so these are things, of course, we don't worry about, but this was an arcane art to get enough memory to run some of these games. And this has some instructions for doing this, and that's generally how you learned, or at least how I learned how to manage memory on DOS, was by playing games. And I really wanted to play the game, so I followed their instructions and learned a little bit about how the computers worked. Nowadays, Windows does everything for you, generally not an issue. So there you go. That's the reference card. And that's actually everything in the box. So you're probably wondering, why is this box so large? In fact, there's nothing else in here. This is just a cardboard backing with nothing inside. So when I said this is inefficient, I really mean that. This is mostly unused space. So this really epitomizes big box games. This was just designed to take up more shelf space in stores so that it would be more noticeable. Otherwise, I don't see any reason for it. It doesn't have anything else in it. Nowadays, of course, that sort of thing will not happen. Their retailers are fairly finicky and picky about what they'll allow to have, what they'll have on their shelves, how much space it takes up. This is why they had a lot of trouble with those Guitar Hero games, Rock Band games. They just took up too much space, and now they're gone, basically. That was part of the concern. I also kept a couple of things in the box all these years, including the original receipt from when I bought this thing. So here it is, the receipt from Micro Center in Virginia. It's I actually bought it on the 28th of July, 1994, for the princely sum of $43 plus tax. Now you may think that $43 for a new PC game doesn't seem like much. Seems like about what you pay now, but you have to realize that in 1993 that was about about $60 or $65 worth in 2011 dollars. So that's actually pretty expensive for a PC game, especially for me. This is just before I went to college, so pretty pricey. I also, for some reason, had a copy of an article from Computer Gaming World, December 1993 issue. I copied this out, photocopied it, and put it in there. It's a little bit of strategy for playing the game. The article was called "Chief Execution Officer." Ha ha ha. A guide to corporate culture in the Syndicate. So this is just two pages like that. You can actually find this magazine online if you go to the CGW Museum. Just search for that and you'll find it. You'll be able to find this and other issues of Computer Gaming World. Again, this is the December 93 issue if you're interested. And I also kept in there this disc. This is a copy of the expansion for Syndicate, which was released not too long after the game, but I acquired it by certain means. I don't know that I ever played it, but I did have this copy of it. I was told that it was much harder than the original game and not that good. So, but there it is. Unfortunately, the GOG version of it does not have this expansion, American Revolt. But like I said, apparently you're not missing very much. So, anyway, That's it. And there you have it, Syndicate in all of its big box glory. By the time you see this video, the new Syndicate will probably be released, and we will know whether Electronic Arts was able to capture some of what made the original game special. If you have any questions or want to see more videos like this, please leave a comment. Maybe I can cover Syndicate's sequel, Syndicate Wars. I also want to give credit to Scattle for the awesome Syndicate theme remix you heard at the beginning of the video. And here's some more of it. Thanks for watching.